Hi, this is Claire again, and I was asked how did you get into spiritual things, how you developed your way, and so I can tell you. It's a long story. I will try to make it short. It started when I was about 13 years old, and I discovered the tarot deck of my mother. And this was, of course, something where children or young teens are very curious about. And so I started it at first in secret because my mother shouldn't know it. So this is nothing for children and you shouldn't do it and so on. But of course, I was too curious, and then this whole thing started and developed with my spiritual way. But it is also something that is in my family for many generations. There is a interest in history, in spiritual things, and also in arts. Yeah, this is. I never had this often cited grandmother who read the cards for everybody. Yeah, this is. I don't know what it's like in your country, but in Germany, since there are those psychic lines where you can phone your card reader, everybody has a grandmother that read the cards. Okay, we let it as it is, but it was in my family. It was not always easy because I grew up in the GDR, what was the eastern part of Germany behind the Berlin Wall. The socialist system, and of course in the socialist system, spirituality and religion and things like that. It was opium to the people. You might know this as an expression and it was difficult. You could not openly speak about those topics. You could not read the cards openly for people or something like that. Yeah, it was simply impossible. If you did not want to have problems with Stasi, you might have heard that this was the secret service inside the country, and you could get really in trouble if you did those things openly. So most people developed a closer relationship to spiritual topics after the wall came down, and you could be free and you could travel, and of course your spiritual life was free then too. Yeah, and yes. Later on, I read the cards and I became interested in witchcraft, not so much in Wicca, what you would call Wicca. It is more like I call it traditional European witchcraft. Yeah, in a positive way, of course, but it is not like Wicca. Wicca has very much ceremonial admixtures, and I am interested in ceremonial magic, especially as it concerns the tarot cards. But I'm more into the folk magic. This is my topic, and this is where I do much research and where I publish books about also. But the books were later on. First, I started to study. I studied pedagogics and sociology. I don't know how you call it. It is about people and societies. Yeah, sociology, where you look at societies and you make much statistics and so on. Yeah, but when I studied, I also read the cards for my buddies, and then slowly it became more known that I read the cards, and I started a little like a very small magazine about witchcraft. It was merely like copies, but it started, and then I developed my first book of that, and after many years of trying to get a publishing house, I got a publishing house, and then I could publish it, and then everything came step by step. It was more known, and I could write more books, and I do correspondence courses in German, and so everything developed. It was not like I had a big flash or something like that. Some people have a very special moment when they get into their spiritual way, and this was not the case. It was more like one step after another, like being guided somehow. Everything came after another, and I always planned to have a straight career. Yeah, studying and then having a good job and so on. It was never planned that I go the spiritual way. This is nice. I can do it in private, but I don't want to do it as a job. This is too insecure. Yeah, but things developed in another way, and during my study, I had to make a decision if I want to go the normal way, or if I want to go the spiritual way. And I thought, well, this chance might come only one time, so I will go the spiritual way. So here I am, and this is the way that I got into those things.